Welcome to OSG Live, where we inspire you to fall in love with your business. Get set to join your hosts, Tanya, Becky, Kylene, and Aaron for your weekly motivation. It's time to share your wins, express gratitude, and choose positive changes. Jump into the comments and share your thoughts with the rest of the OSG community. Coming up, OSG Wellness Super Tools to nourish your mind and body, small business success gems to uncover hidden gems of business excellence, and the uncommon mindset to challenge the status quo. Your journey to success and happiness starts now.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to OSG Live. This is our fourth installment of the show, and I don't know about everyone else, but it brings me a lot of joy, fills my cup, and I'm learning a lot too. So that is amazing. I am from Gracie Digital Designs, and I'm going to turn it over to Kylene to introduce herself.
I'm Kylene Montgomery with Rise, Shine, Smile.
I'm Becky Kotzer with BK Custom Tees.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery with our Success Group, and we are here to inspire you guys to love your business. So this is as Tanya said, wow, just it's been great. We've got some people tuning in already. Good morning to Chuck. Thank you for being here. And Darren, good morning. We've got the guys up early here this morning. And as you guys can tell, my backdrop's a little different than normal. That is a hotel bed. That is an actual skyline back there. So I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am here for the Printing United Expo here in Atlanta. And wow, I just noticed Rena checking in, and Rena's on the West Coast, so bright and early for Rena.
Oh, wow.
Good morning, Rena.
Yeah, definitely. So,
awesome.
All right.
All right. Well, let's just start with some gratitude today. Let's set the tone for our show. So we talk about gratitude because gratitude is our superpower, right? It's when we're in a state of gratitude. I like it. Perfect shirt for today, Tanya. Thank you. We're in that state of gratitude. We're in a state of abundance, and therefore we start really appreciating things in our life. We start attracting more good things to us. We're paying attention and we're being intentional, right? And that word that we talked about last week. We're being intentional with our thoughts, and we're choosing to be grateful for the things that we have in our life and really truly appreciating them. And therefore we start vibrating at that higher frequency. We start putting out more positive vibes, and then that transpires to other people, and it just has that ripple effect. So we're going to start our show again today with gratitude. So I'll start today. I am grateful for sleep. Unlike Aaron, I did get a really good night's sleep, and I'm feeling very good this morning. So I'm really grateful for a great night's sleep. Those of you listening, if you want to share what you're grateful for this morning, please do so in the comments. Tanya, do you want to share what you're grateful for today?
Sure. You can see that my background is different as well. I'm really grateful that my grandma left me this house in southern Iowa that we can come down and visit and eventually move to. It's just a different pace, and I can get a lot of things done working on my business rather than in my business.
Love it. And you got a nice clock there too. It sounds like you got to hear
just
it before.
To freak Aaron out.
Becky, before you share your gratitude here, Michelle is checking in. She says good morning to the Fab Four. So thank you, Michelle, for being here. But,
good morning.
Yeah, Becky, what's on in your gratitude bucket today?
My gratitude bucket is having these other three here to lift me up. As of last night, I was struggling a little bit, and so a quick reach out had me back where I needed to be and back in the right headspace, so that we were ready for today. And I'm just thankful to be back. It was an amazing vacation, but as much as I love to go, I love to be home too. So I'm thankful for the time away, but I'm glad to be back. So
yeah. I actually you reminded me that you actually weren't here last week. You did such a good job with that interview. I felt like you were with us. So that was great. Thank you for doing that. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here this morning with you guys. That I'm in a hotel, the internet's working, my computer showed up okay. Even though I was fretting over the evening, I still feel really good. I'm excited about being out here in Atlanta. I've driven to all these shows so much recently that this is a new experience. The flying now, I'm anxious over that, but I'm good. I'm good. It's all good. It's way easier, that's for sure. To fly out here, show up, and then everything shows up here. So I'm grateful for everything falling into place. But listeners, you guys, what are you guys grateful for this morning? We appreciate you guys tuning in bright and early here this morning and being a part of this. And we want to know what's filling up your gratitude cup. And I'm this whole concept of gratitude, Kylene, I appreciate you sharing it, and everybody else here that we value it so much. As Tanya, your shirt, remember that. I actually, my segment today comes from a conversation that started off with gratitude with my Uber driver last night heading to the airport. So little pre giving it away a little bit beforehand, but trying to wait for you guys to share your gratitude, because whoever wants to jump in here, kind of explain that to people real quick. When obviously we share our gratitude, I'm listening to you guys. How does that, everybody sharing theirs together, what does that do for us?
The positive just expands, and it makes it easier. Like if you're having a bad day, to accept that good things happen. It kind of goes with choose to, by listening to others, that I choose to make more of an effort to put a positive foot forward instead of being a negative Nelly. So that's what it does for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I am loving Michelle's comment here of I'm grateful for community support, because there again, I totally agree with that one. I was asked late Sunday afternoon to do some football playoff shirts, and we got a web store up that evening, and by noon, orders were due by noon on Monday, and the community showed up for it. So
Wow.
I agree with that also. Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Awesome.
That's good. Darren shared, I finished painting my bedroom and getting it back together, and a beautiful sunrise. Yeah, I would agree with that one. I'm just looking out the window here. I can see the sunrise coming off the buildings back there. That's a heck of a way to start your morning for sure. Marina says, I'm grateful for coffee at 5 a.m. so I can start my day with the Fab Four. Yeah.
Cheers.
That's awesome.
The line at Starbucks was a little long this morning for me, so don't
Aaron. No.
We need to give you a better option, Aaron. That's
yeah.
You have
I do have a little
tea,
coffee
don't you?
machine in my room here, but I don't know.
Oh boy.
All right. Anything else about gratitude you guys want to cover before we dive in?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, should we open up the wellness toolbox here this morning and dive into that?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Hello.
I'm super excited about this topic. So
Yes, same here. So this is a topic that we use very regularly, and we wanted to share it with those of you in case maybe you're curious about it, or maybe you are someone who uses it. So what I'm talking about is tapping. It's also known as the emotional freedom technique, or EFT tapping. We typically just call it tapping. And I have found it so beneficial because I can do tapping anywhere, and it really puts me back into a positive state of mind when life starts giving me challenges or curveballs or things like that. It's a tool that I have access to. So that's why we wanted to share it. Tanya, how has it been part of your life, your regular routine?
Well, when I first started it, when I first heard about it, I was skeptical. And it's funny because my husband calls it my hoodoo voodoo. He gets it. It's just not anything that he's comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I use it when our group taps a few mornings a week. But also, I decided to purchase the app so that I have it available anytime. If I have a headache, there's headache ones. If I need some extra focus, taking a few minutes out to do a quick tapping kind of refocuses my mindset and things. And what's wonderful, I think that there's like over 400 different things on the tapping app. Plus they have some affirmation things. they're adding things to the app all the time. There's also other resources on the internet, and then there's some audiobooks, and there's just all kinds of things. And there's also a documentary that we should talk about later to have people check out.
Yeah, most definitely. So let's dive in a little bit more about what really is EFT tapping, or the emotional freedom technique. So it comes from some principles from acupressure and psychology. And essentially what you're doing is you're tapping on the meridian points, or the energy points in your body. And by doing that, you're quickly releasing any fear, limiting beliefs, or negative feelings that you might be experiencing. And essentially, you're giving yourself a boost. You're almost rewiring your brain. So you're associating that negative emotion and you're changing it into a positive. And by tapping on those energy points on your body, it's that quickest pathway to make that new connection. So that's a little bit about kind of how it works, like what it really is all about. So Tanya, can you share a little bit about, maybe you touched on it a little bit, but a little bit more about why tapping is so powerful?
It helps bring harmony in your life. I think by being aware, but also then tapping on those meridian points, it really kind of drives the message deeper. And I find that the more I do it, that the easier it is to get to where I want to be. It helps reduce stress around relationships, finances, weight, pain, fears, and so much more. When I began using it, I was in chronic pain all the time, and it did help take the edge off. And I think because I was seeing relief with that, it let me open my mind more to, okay, let's try it for this, let's try it for that. And it's very powerful.
Yeah, because when that stress shows up, it creates that increase in cortisol. That's that stress hormone, and then that creates more anxiety. It can create some weight gain, health problems. We all know what stress does to our body, and it impacts us all differently. And so if we can use a tool such as tapping, and we're going to show you that in a little bit, how it actually looks, and so you can have an experience with it. It's something that you can do anywhere. Like, I've sat in my car and I've done tapping. I can sit in my office, obviously, and do tapping before bed, in the morning, whenever it feels right to you. So for me, as most of you know, this has been a tough 6 months for me, losing my dad and just kind of processing all of it. Tapping's been a huge part in me working through some of those emotions that are showing up, and bringing back that hope again, and bringing back that I don't know, that peace, and like you said at the beginning, harmony back into my life. This is a tool that I have personally found really impactful. So I'm curious if any of you listening have used tapping or have tried tapping, and kind of what you think about it. So for me, I just feel like tapping it's like gratitude, right? We can be intentional, but it's another tool that we can access. And Tanya, do you want to talk a little bit more about the app that you mentioned, what it was called? And
it's called the Tapping Solution, and it's some brothers and sisters that, I think 2 brothers and 1 sister, I think, that have this app. And it started with a documentary that I mentioned earlier. It's on YouTube. Yeah. Just search for the Tapping Solution, and it kind of shows the beginning of it. And then they built this app, and they're adding new things to it all the time. It's really powerful. And for me, paying the money for the app, having it at my disposal, was so worth it. I consider it kind of like my therapy that I'm committed to. It's just one more way of investing in myself, and being able to take that tool and utilize it. I know that Becky and I sometimes are like, okay, you need to go tap. she started having a headache the other day, and I'm like, you need to go tap, because a lot of times that works for her. And it's amazing what it can do for focus, feeling hopeful, feeling joyful. Sometimes we just do a microburst of joy, and it is enough to like flip that switch if you're starting off on a wrong foot.
Yep. Yeah, most definitely. Becky here, I use it on a daily basis. I have used it for releasing headaches and calm anxiety and overwhelm. It's so true. And Michelle wrote, I've done it and noticed how relaxed I am afterwards. I just need to purchase the app. Yeah. So I love that. Thank you guys for sharing your experience with it. It was, when I first learned about it, I was like, I was intrigued, but again, I'm attracted to this type of alternative type of ways that we can really be in harmony. I really like that word today. That's my word, harmony. Because it's simple. And again, I'm going to show you. Can we show that one picture kind of how it works with the three? Thank you. So that, for whatever reason, I don't know about you, Tanya, but this picture kind of makes sense for me. And when I think visually, so you're tapping on the meridian points, and then it creates that new energy in your body. And it signals in your brain, okay, I can relax. I can reduce this cortisol production that's creating all that stress in our life. And then it restores and it creates more positive energy and balance in your life. So thank you for sharing that. And then can you share the other one when we can walk through kind of the tapping points here? So we're going to tap on the top of our head, on our eyebrow, side of the eye, under our nose, our chin, our collarbone, under our arm here, and then obviously the karate chop here. Those are the 9 areas we're going to focus on today. But before we jump into that here, we'll do the tapping at the end. Tanya, could you share a little bit about all the different times or the good moments, I guess? I mean, there's always a good moment to do tapping, but just kind of the times in the day where maybe it would be really beneficial.
If I'm well, first of all, in the morning, it's just a great way to start the day. The app also has like challenges that cover different topics that you can do daily for like a couple weeks, or sometimes they're shorter. If I'm feeling overwhelmed at work, I'll just go to another part of my building, or sometimes I'll just do it right at my desk. I don't care if people look at me goofy anymore. And it just kind of resets that. It's also great for before bed. Some people have trouble sleeping, and there are ones that are targeted towards sleep, insomnia, or just relaxing. And I typically don't make it very far in the sleep ones, because it gives my body permission to relax and let everything go so that I can get some restorative sleep. For me, the main reasons to start were restoring my health, my mental well-being, and to get past some of the things that I was just so anxious about that were tying me up in knots, that were not enabling me to move forward in my life.
Yeah, I like that too. For me, it's the beginning and the end of the day is typically when I personally enjoy doing tapping and find those benefits. And like you, at the end of the day, I don't always make it through. I can, fall asleep sometimes, but that's okay. The other thing I wanted to share is that you can do this with your kids. I've shared this.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, with Lewis, and we've done it with him before, like a volleyball match that he has, and kind of just reducing any stress or anxiety that he might have, just kind of channeling it and letting him come back to that positive, balanced state. It's so it's great for your family. It's something you can introduce with your family and do that together as well. The other thing is, when I have a task in front of me that is very challenging, or for whatever reason, I just can't get going on it, tapping is something that I do that can really help me get that focus so I can move forward and get that task accomplished.
It's also something that I feel goes hand in hand with intention and choose, because I choose to do things that will move me forward in life. And when I intentionally tap, whether I know I need something or not, it just makes me feel like I'm empowering myself more to move myself forward. You know, our healthcare system is great. Western medicine is great, but there's something to be said about a holistic approach as well, in trying to move yourself forward and not relying on big pharma and putting other things into your body. I definitely am not saying, don't go to the doctor or whatever, but there are things for our mental health and our physical well-being that we can do on our own that might make those doctor's visits a little bit less.
Yes, most definitely. All right. Well, are we ready to share tapping with people?
Yes.
So we're going to take you through a quick tapping. It's not going to be long, just so those of you who are not familiar with it can experience it or just see what it looks like. Because for me, until I actually saw it, I couldn't wrap my head around tapping. I don't understand. So let's go ahead. We'll get started here. I'm going to walk you through. So I have something I'm going to read from, so bear with me if I'm turning my head. So we're going to do just a quick boost of happiness tapping. So we're going to start by just getting relaxed in your chair and take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just get more settled in your chair. And then let's start by tapping on the side of our hands at the karate chop point. And then repeat after me, either in your mind or out loud. Even though I'm blocking happiness, I'm open to happiness now. And still on the side of the hand. Even though parts of me are a bit down, I'm open to feeling more content and cheerful. And one more time on the side of your hand. Even though I'm resisting immense happiness, I open myself to feeling lighter now. And tapping on the eyebrow, so right on the points here. I create my happiness. Side of the eye. I'm open to being happy now. Under the eye. Releasing any blocks to happiness. Under the nose. From every cell of my body. Under the mouth. I deserve happiness. On the collarbone. Nothing is going to stop that. Under the arm. I am choosing happiness now. On the top of your head, so happy, so safe, so content. You can go ahead and stop tapping now. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, you've just experienced tapping if this was your first time. So that was obviously a very quick demonstration of what tapping does, but those of you listening, if you went through that with us, how did that feel for you? Did you have any experience or any thoughts or questions? Please definitely let us know on that.
I do want to mention too that sometimes, like when we are tapping as a group, we do it very early in the morning. Sometimes your mind will wander. Sometimes we'll get lost. Oh, where am I supposed to be? And that's okay. You're still listening to it, and it's getting in there. And as you do it more, you become more accustomed to keeping up and not missing a beat. But it's okay if you miss something, or sometimes it's your subconscious, taking care of things is how I think of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I think it is being gentle with yourself as you go through that experience. You know, and the more you do it, the more, or easier, I should say, it is to stay focused and really be present during this experience. You know, when you first start out with anything, your mind is all over the place because you're like, am I doing it right? Am I listening? Did I miss something? Or, you know, you're just distracted by everything. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for experiencing tapping with Tanya and I today. Tanya, do you have anything else to share with tapping?
Just that, you know, give it a shot. Do some, there are tappings available on the internet, on YouTube, and things like that. I just personally really recommend the tapping solution. I think that they do a phenomenal job of all the different topics that they offer. And I watched the documentary. We challenged each other to watch the documentary not too long ago for Masters of Success, and it was very interesting to see how people deal with it. People use it for grief. I think that, Kylene, that you've been using it for grief and to feel hopeful again. I mean, there's just such a wide range of things that it can help with.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm glad that you brought that up. And if anyone's interested, we do tap some of the mornings in the week. Not as much as we used to, but we're still hanging on to it. If anyone wants to join us in the mornings for tapping, reach out to one of us, either on here or personally, however you want to reach out to us. And we'd love to have you join us if that's something of interest and you want to just explore before maybe you would invest in the app.
And if it doesn't work, like, because we do it at 6:30 in the morning Central Standard Time, and that doesn't work for some people. But if you send any of us a message, we can schedule a time to let you experience tapping. We all are pretty passionate about it, but Becky, Kylene, and I, and would love to assist with that.
Yes, most definitely. Thank you for sharing that, Tanya. All right. Well, that was a little bit about another tool that you have, a wellness tool. So you can kind of get yourself back into that positive state of mind. And I want to share a video of another tool that you guys could have access to and try. So if we could play our little video here, that would be awesome.
I have to say, I know I say this every time we talk about yoga, but it has really been beneficial for me, not only for my physical health, but also for mental health too. Sometimes it's just a reset to be able to breathe again and get in touch with what's going on in my body and stretch those muscles and be intentional.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, it is really about quieting your mind, strengthening your body, and just making that connection again, creating that harmony. There's the word again. I'm going to keep saying it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, Betty says, thank you, ladies. Yeah, that was great information. And then she's challenging me, were you tapping too? And I was. Yep.
Yes, he was.
Tapping.
Yes,
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
I believe in it as well. So not quite at the passion level that the ladies are here. I think it's great that they've, you know, and it's going to be different for everybody, right? You know, it's an opportunity to, you know, build something into your toolbox. You know, I'm more of a, I like to kind of get away and do a little doodling. I'm a terrible artist, but I love doing Zentangles and things like that. So everybody's got their own thing, and I love tapping too. It's been great. Like Kylene said, Lewis has utilized it very strongly in his life already at 12. So you know, it works for anybody and everybody.
I have had Cora tapping, and she's 8. So yes,
there you go.
He does it. We have not utilized it as much lately, but we had been for a while. So.
And didn't you get like a tapping book for kids?
I do. I have there. Well, and they actually came out with a couple children's books too, but there is The one thing that you guys didn't mention on that app, they have audiobooks of their books that they have also put out there. So through that app, you can listen to the books also. They have several, I think there's 4 or 5 or better out there now. So.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, thank
All
you
right.
guys. I hope if you guys really truly want to experience tapping, you could reach out to one of us, any of us. We're happy to share it with you so you can experience it. But are we ready for our gems today?
Yeah. Before we get there, sorry, we wanted to interact with some of the comments. We've had a lot throughout, so I just want to hit a couple of them before we get too far away. So Todd was checking in earlier, talking about gratitude. And so he says, grateful for automated systems that allow us to make money while we sleep. And then Darren, I just thought this was good. Enjoying that sunset, take pictures. It's a good reminder of it, right?
Don't stop taking those pictures, Darren.
Keep it going. And then I was giggling while you were talking because Rena sent me a private message. So we'll leave it for now. She says anyhow, all right, now we are finally ready. I think I'm out of the way here. So are you guys ready for small business success gems here?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Let's do it.
Good morning, everybody. How are we today? I am glad to be back. I don't feel like my camera is right here, so bear with me. Today, we are going to talk about the fundamental 5. How do you start your day? Do you jump in with the first email you see? Or, did you leave yourself a note the night before that you knew you needed to take care of? How do you accomplish those tasks that make you move your day forward? Viewers, if anybody's out there, let me know how you start your day. Do you have a specific routine or anything that helps get your day started? I want to talk about the fundamental 5. This is a strategy that I learned after joining the Masters of Success Mastermind and working with some training through OSG with Aaron. And the fundamental 5 is simple. It's almost too simple to be true, right? But simple is so good. And it keeps us going that way. But I've used the fundamental 5 in my planner and in a notebook. Well, you could use it in a planner or a notebook or on a whiteboard, whatever would work. But the fundamental 5 is just making a list of your top 5 tasks for the day. What are the top 5 things that would be able to get you to move your day forward? What do you need to accomplish that would move your business forward that day? Could it be sending the emails out? Could it be creating invoices? Maybe it's production, whatever it is for your day. Maybe it's even just clearing your desk off. That is going to have to be one of mine this week. It's not today because I've now found that some days that rule of 5 or that fundamental 5 becomes 1. And today, mine will be 1. I have production that is due by the end of today. Like I said earlier, our community showed up for our football playoffs, and we have 120-ish items that need to be front and back pressed. So we started yesterday. That's what is on task for today. I don't really see that there's going to be time for much else today. Now, if I get other stuff done, I'm going to call that as a bonus, total bonus. But some days that just has to be. I see Rena. I see Aaron says morning routines are so important, and I agree completely. And then Rena says, need to get back into a routine. My day is so much more productive when I make my morning lists. And that was the other thing I was going to talk about, Rena. I pulled out my planner today to look to see. The last time I used it was September 20th. And the time before that, August 30th. And now I understand exactly why I feel like I've been spinning and spinning and spinning and not feeling like I've been accomplishing as much as I should in my business. So this is, if you guys can kind of see it, I made a planner page. I took some of Aaron's information, kind of made it my own little thing. I don't know. And then we have stuff for the backside. But the main thing I wanted to work on is this fundamental 5. So those 5 things or one thing or whatever it is, whatever it is that makes your day move forward. I got lost there in my thought after I picked up my paper. Let's see. Was there any? I don't see any more comments. How about let's bring up the rest of the Fab Four, because I know that they have input that they would love to share too, and give us some ideas on how they utilize their fundamental 5 in their days. Hey guys.
Hello.
Okay. Well, I agree with you 100%. The rule of 5, those 5 tasks that you can accomplish, and just being intentional with that, I think it really comes back to intention. It is right there. It is the important task, and it's that reminder for you of the direction that you're headed that day. What's important to you before life happens, right? Before all those things are happening that draw your attention away from the task that you truly need to get to. And so for me, I found, especially recently, when life is really busy, I find myself sometimes getting away from writing down those things, those tasks, like you were sharing in your planner. So I appreciate you being honest with us and sharing that, 'cause that was really important. Because, and then I find that you can spiral, right? Then you start feeling that overwhelm. You feel like you don't have as much control. And so I think right there shows the power of the rule of 5. You are intentional and moving forward. So, yeah, I find it very beneficial to start my day. When I am in that routine, it's very powerful.
And you can make a planner page, or you can do what I just did. I'm out of town. My planner was bulky, so I didn't want to bring it. So I just wrote down 5 things I want to accomplish. And what I like about it is that when I mark these off, I feel very accomplished. But then I can write down a couple more if I'm having a really good day. If I don't get to all of them, I don't beat myself up anymore, at least not always. And I don't know why it is that this is like the first thing for all of us to go, but it's also the one thing that we always talk about that helps us the most.
So true.
Yeah.
The simple things that we forget. That's
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'll remember. I don't remember anything.
And I think that's the real crux of it, right? I love that you mentioned that it was simple. I was making notes as you were sharing there, Becky, and because there were some really important things, I think, in lots of really important things throughout. But the simple things, right? We go, okay, simple. It's simple. Okay, I should be, but it's not. Oh, it's simple is great, but the implementation of it takes commitment. It takes, just building it as a habit, right? So ultimately what the point of this whole thing is building that habit to start your day with some intention. So that was the other note that I wrote down as Becky was talking, was it's about intention. So fundamental 5, fundamental 1, whatever that is, you can certainly adjust that, just like Becky mentioned, right? She's got one thing that she's committed to doing today. And that's where it becomes a habit, though, is if you can make that that's something that I'm doing daily. So if you sit down and you got whatever it is that for you, that's going to be your list, right? But having that with you all the time and just going, okay, yep, this is how I start my day. And I think it's important to be honest with yourself about, like Becky was sharing there. I want to go for 5, right? I want to push to get as much as I can done, but this is not about, how much you can get done. It's the quality of it. And so what is the one thing that you're going to be committed to doing? And the reason that we want to make this list is so then if we end up at the end of the day and like, I still have that thing on my list, that's important. So I'm going to, I'd like to go to bed. Yeah, I'm tired. I want to sit down and watch TV, but I've made this intention. That was the other word that Becky had used that I wrote down. So anyhow, I think that's really super valid with this, is whatever it is for you. If it's 5 things, 5's great because it's a number that just resonates with us. 3s, 5s, things like that really when you get into the whole numerology thing. But anyhow, so Tanya, what else you got there?
It's also a very buildable habit. So on my planner page at home, I have, or I think we all have a place to recognize our gratitude. I also then do a couple of affirmations, or
Mhm.
I put my choose word there, or I build that into my morning. So because I have my choose board, and it's using these tools. Sorry, a bug flying in my face. As a way to set yourself up for success for the day. And when I do those things, have my choose word, do my gratitude, have my rule of five, I just go into my day calmer and be like, okay, let's get this done.
No.
Whereas when I don't, I sit and spin, or I end up in rabbit holes that I don't need to be, and things like that. And then I'm frustrated by the end of the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
The intention was definitely following up the girls' episode from last week. The whole intention part of it is there. I see Michelle had a comment for us. She says, I hung my morning routine on my fridge. It includes choose board, put off checking phone, stretches, water, and plan my day. I love that idea, Michelle, for having an actual checklist. And I think my house could use one. I think my office could use one. So that is probably going to be on the list also. So I think the checklist to make sure you're getting some of that stuff done, back to the intention of making sure you're doing those things.
And
I Betty says, and to not feel guilty if you don't get all 5 done, because the first one is the most important. I totally agree. We sometimes get down on ourselves because, we made this list and we didn't get it all done. Now think if you had 10 or 12 items on that list, and then you start, berating yourself for not getting all of those done. We have to really just look at what, the intention. There's the word. I might have to change my focus word today, my choose word today. But the intention of which items are the most important that are going to move your business forward today. That's today, reset it for tomorrow. Tomorrow might be a different option, but what is going to actually move you forward today? That's I guess where this fundamental 5 lies.
Yeah. Can I go back to Michelle's comment too? Because there's something in that is also, I believe, really important for us to understand here. We live in a world of people trying to steal our attention, right? We've got notifications on our phones. The latest thing that's happening outside our world that's going to affect us, and they want our attention. And so that, I think, if you really boil this down to its simplest thing, it's like that intention of what is it that is going to be important for you today, and what is your system, right? So Michelle's created that routine because if you wake up to your phone and you roll over and the first thing you're doing is scrolling Facebook or TikTok or whatever, right now, that's what your day is going to be all about, right? Whatever things have happened, you get right into your emails, and I'm guilty of all these things. And so when I say to myself, okay, here are the 5 things I need to get done. Here are the 3 things that are really important for me to accomplish today, so I can look back at the end of the day and go, yes, this was a successful day. And then having that somewhere where it's in front of you. Kylene and I just made this little simple change in our eating, the way we schedule dinners, right? That constant, like, what are we going to eat for dinner tonight? I don't know, right? I'm terrible with this. Kylene knows that I'm not. So we just decided that we were going to try to be a little bit better about Sunday, writing down what we were going to do. And then we put that, we'd done that before, but now we actually put it on the fridge. So when we're getting the coffee in the morning, we need to take the meat out. We need to, right? It's that same thing. It's that same idea of intention. So I just wanted to make sure that we shared that. That was really important to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I see Jerry has a comment here. At times I do the least desirable task and the others don't seem as bad. I call that eating the frog.
Eat the frog.
Yes.
If we get that frog out of the way, then the others seem to follow in and fall into place for us. So, well, I appreciate you guys coming on and discussing this with us. And I will be back, and maybe somebody needs to check on me and make sure I'm getting my top 5, my fundamental 5 written down every day. So we'll see how that goes.
Perfect.
Excellent. All right. Well, let's real quick here. We'll learn a little bit about our success group, and then I will come back with the uncommon mindset, if that sounds like a plan for you guys.
Sounds great.
All right, here we go. As a small business owner, the journey can often feel overwhelming. It can feel like you're overworked, underappreciated, and alone. At our Success Group, we guide you to uncover the fundamentals necessary for success and lead you to fall in love with your business. We provide the foundational support and guide you towards a business that you love, not just a job that you dread. With OSG, we tackle aligning your business with your reason or purpose, defining a pricing strategy tailor-made for your business, and pave the way for you to identify your ideal customer. This is just scratching the surface. The mindset shift we provide is the game changer. We're here to support you every step of the way. Take a chance on yourself, trust in your potential, and let OSG guide your first steps towards lasting fulfillment. Go to osg.link/try-OSG. All right, you guys. Well, check that out again, osg.link/try-OSG, and let us know what questions you have. You can see right below my name on the screen there, consultaaron.com. That's an easy way to reach out to me directly. Have any questions about what our Success Group does, how we can help you, how we can support you. I'm not a salesperson. I never want to be, and I never will be. So I just want to chat with you about what could be out there, right? If that's something else, that's fine. So with that being said, are you guys ready to jump into the uncommon mindset this morning? And we'll close out OSG Live with that. All right. So Uncommon Mindset is actually brought to you. I alluded to this earlier, brought to you by our Uber driver, my Uber driver from last night. I'm going to be looking over here at some notes to make sure I stay on track. But anyhow, on my way to the airport last night, I jumped in an Uber, and the gentleman was a really nice guy right from the beginning, jumped out, grabbed my 50-pound suitcase that I had, and just real positive. I mean, it kind of jumped off of him, and we got in the car and we start rolling, and he's listening to an audiobook, and it's all about the self-talk, positive self-talk. And so I just asked him, I said, "Oh, what are you listening to?" And he started sharing his story. And apparently he was a 2-pack a day smoker and had been trying for years and years and years to quit. And I'm going to make sure I get it right because I wrote down some notes just talking to him here. He said he was doom scrolling. This is actually not something I've heard of. So somebody will have to let me know what that is. Doom scrolling TikTok. And he ran across a clip from Joe Rogan from one of his podcasts where the guest was talking about positive self-talk and just the power of that. And so he just happened to have this epiphany. Well, let me try this. Let me check this out. And he said that he dove in head first, went and found everything he could, from finding apps to these audiobooks and things like that. And he said what he told me was in 3 days, he had no desire to smoke anymore. Smoking was like the smell of cigarettes made him nauseous. And he was, from that point on, non-smoker. And this was like 2 weeks ago, apparently, is what he was telling me. So he was just 100% committed to this. And so now he was like, okay, what else can I do? Right. I was able to overcome this smoking habit that I've been trying to kick for years through the power of positive self-talk. And so anyhow, had an awesome conversation on my way to the airport. I gave him my card and I told him I'd love to hear more about his successes with all this. And he seemed genuinely interested in reaching out to me. So fingers crossed that I hear from William again. But in that conversation, we were also talking. He said, there's a word that keeps showing up for me, and I'm really trying to understand it. I'm really trying to think about it more. And that word was integrity. And we talked about it briefly. There wasn't a whole lot of time left in the ride. And so I said that was something that I wanted to chew on a little bit too. And he really inspired me to chew on that a little bit more. And so I did last night on the airplane, and I had something completely different planned for today, but I'm like, you know what? This is good stuff. I really want to dive into it. So in diving into it, I think I've got a 2-part segment that we can go with here, and it's all about the word integrity. So, now integrity it's got its roots in a Latin word, and I'm going to read it over here: integritas, which means wholeness or completeness. It's also related, interestingly enough, to another word that we use, integrate. And the uncommon mindset is kind of talking about utilizing both of those words from their root to our true reason. And so let's break that down. I know we've got some comments over here, so let me just check those. Well, thank you. All right. Cool. Thank you, Kylene. All right. And if you guys in the background want to pop those comments up for me, I've got too many things going on. Thank you. That's a great story. Just shows the power of our thoughts, Kylene. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. So thank Betty. Oh, wow. Awesome. All right. So let's dive into this. I want to get through this here quickly so we can discuss it with the rest of the Fab Four. So integrity, it's about being true to one's values, principles, and moral character, maintaining consistency, and acting in an undivided and honest manner. It's often associated with a person's character and ethical behaviors. And then integrate. To integrate means to combine or unify different parts into a whole, creating a cohesive, hard for me to say this morning, and harmonious structure. It's about bringing together diverse elements to form a complete and functional entity. So that connection to me is completeness and unity. When you act with integrity, you're essentially integrating your values, your principles, your reason into your actions and your decision-making process. So integrity is integration. It's aligning your beliefs with your behaviors and creating consistent and undivided self. So the concept is really about wholeness of character. To be successful, you must be consistent to your values and your principles, regardless of any external influences, right? I got to look good in their eyes, or I have to have this marketing spin to be, in the right, to hang out with this group kind of thing. So to me, there's really several benefits to this uncommon mindset. And the first one is when you act from a place of integrity and you act from a place of integration and action, right? You build trust, and that trust then builds a reputation. And while reputation is, to me, this is an interesting point that I want to hear from you guys about in the comments, and I'm going to bring the Fab Four back in here in just a little bit, and I can't wait to hear their thoughts on this too. But reputation, we think that means what other people think about us. But in my mind, reputation is, how do I feel about myself? How do I feel about how I'm interacting in the world? Am I doing things in a way that is aligned with my values, right? Do I have that self-talk that helped this gentleman, William, my Uber driver, get over being a smoker for years? He said also he has no desire to drink anymore either. I'm like, wow, okay. He was all in, man. This is great. So that's really the first benefit is you build trust, self-trust. You build reputation, also self-reputation. The second benefit to living in this manner of integrity, operating your business with integrity, integrating your personal values into your business, is the simplicity of it. Becky used that word simplicity earlier, so it keeps showing up for me too. If you're acting in alignment with your values, there is no friction, right? There's no shows that you have to put on, But again, it's the actions. If you say you want a successful business and your values are supporting others, yet you spend all of your time devising the next get rich quick scheme, or taking any shortcuts that you can find, that's hard work, because you're saying one thing, that your values are this, but your actions are showing others and yourself that they don't align. There's some friction there, right? And so following integrity, it's simple to do, but it's just hard to execute because there's no get rich quick scheme for this, and that's the hard part about it. So it's about aligning your actions with what your values Do you have a reason or mission statement? I'm curious to know, those of you in the comments right now, do you have a reason statement, a mission statement, a why statement, whatever you want to call it? And then do you have clearly defined values that go along with that, right? And then if so, do you review your actions against them? I found not too long ago, I was just, things weren't working so well for me. And I was going, man, what is going on? And I realized as I went to review my values, productivity, efficiency, significance, I wasn't living in those values at the moment. I was doing something different than living in those values, right? I wasn't doing the rule of 5. I wasn't going to my planner and working on the important things first. I was saying yes to everything, right? Those types of things. So do you have a plan to review those things? Now, the flip side of this, do you not have a reason statement? Do you not have clearly defined mission and clearly defined values? That's okay, but do you have a plan to do that, right? So I have a really good feeling about William that he's going to reach out to me, and so I'm going to share some of these thoughts with him. But I also have a really good feeling about you guys and your ability to handle this. So I'd love to have you reach out to me, consultaaron.com. But what I want you to do is think about how you're going to create clarity of your reason, of your values, and then align your actions with that, right? If your action is just always consuming and then you're wondering why you're not getting ahead, right? Then can you align that action to actually engage, to actually do the work, to actually reach out for help, whatever that is for you? Can you do all of those things? So, Rena says, wow, you never know where you'll meet someone that can inspire you. So sorry, too many computers in front of me here. All right. So, next week, I'm going to keep going on this topic. I do want to bring in the Fab Four to kind of close us out here and talk about this. But next week, we're going to dive into the ethical dimensions of this, transparency, accountability, and really, I want to outline some practical ways that we can kind of use this integrate or integrity, both of those words, the integras, Latin root, into our mindset. So, with that being said, I'm just going to bring them back in abruptly here. So sorry to be so jolting, but all right, Fab Four, what's your take on this?
Well, I loved every bit of that. I think for me, what stood out was you said wholeness and character, and then I was just thinking, when we're not being genuine with ourselves, with our values, with what's important to us, we have that internal struggle. And then we're not in harmony. So there's my word. We're not in harmony. We're not in alignment, right? And that's where all of this comes together when you take the time to figure out what your values are, what your strengths are, what your mission statement is, what are you truly about? Then you have that reputation that's positive with yourself. You have that trust. I just think it's so powerful. Our body tells us when we're not in alignment. It tells us, I'm showing up, I'm being this person, or I'm acting this way. This doesn't feel right with my core values. Like you were saying, with things just weren't happening for you the way you wanted them to. So you took the time to evaluate what's happening and where am I not in alignment. So I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Yeah, that's good. And this idea of reputation, this idea of building trust, right? We think about it as an external, how am I affecting other people out there? But the reality is the most important relationship you can build first is the reputation you build with that internal voice, right? Do I actually do the things that I say I'm going to do? Right. And if not, how can I make those adjustments? So thank you for sharing that. Can I get Betty's comment? And then Becky, Tanya, I'm curious. I think you build a reputation, but your longevity lives through integrity. I like that very much. But Betty, thank you for sharing that. Cool.
For me, exactly, it's been said, but until I have the integrity and the reputation for myself, I'm not going to build that with anyone else. So it has to start with me.
Love it. Becky, your take?
I wholeheartedly believe on the having the why and the mission statement. That was something that was amazing for me that showed up this year after working with you, Aaron, that once I found that mission statement and my why, it has just been amazing to watch my business, things that have happened, and obviously a podcast.
There you go.
Not something 6 months or a year ago I would have even ever considered being on camera. Tanya knows this because she's tried to force me several times. Like,
You got her.
slide my heels in. And
I love
so finding that why and realizing exactly what it is that I wanted to do with my business and my life. And here we are now. We're working on podcasts we can share. So I love that part.
Awesome. Becky, I'm actually going to share your story about that in a seminar tomorrow here at Printing United.
Perfect.
So I'm asking for permission, I guess.
Yes, you may.
Awesome. All right. Well, if there's no other thoughts about that, we're getting to the end of our time here. Tanya, you want to ice us down here?
I do. ICE stands for Inspire, Collaborate, and Encourage, and it has helped me the last few years, and then it has developed into Choose. So what are you going to do to ice yourself this week? Let us know in the comments or make a commitment to yourself. I am working on my business this week as we are in Iowa. And then my Choose of the week or day, focus and gratitude. I have my gratitude mindset going on here. And just PSA, you can get a Choose board from my web store. Also, mini Choose boards will be listed soon. So they're little and more.
I need one of those because I couldn't bring my Choose board here on my trip, but the mini one would be perfect. So
I love the mini Choose boards. That made me happy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
well, if you go to oursuccessgroup.com/links, you can find the links to the ice store, Gracie B. Doodle. I'll get BK Custom up there soon, Becky. So I haven't had a chance to do that, but
say hi, anyhow, Cora.
That's where you can find all that. Hi, Cora. How are you? Looks like
Michelle,
she's warm and ready to go.
Michelle says her Choose board says accomplish. And I showed mine too, but mine also, I put focus, but I almost think I need intention because that was definitely a word that was showing up today for me. So,
well, I love it. Love it. And Michelle needs a mini board as well. So there we go.
Love those.
All right. Excellent. So the last thing for me to kind of close out here is I just want people to be 100% committed to, right? If any of these concepts resonated with you, if it's tapping, if it's the rule of 5, fundamental 5, if it's integrity, intention, integrating, right? Whatever it is, I want you guys to make that 100% commitment, right? Write it down on your Choose board once you get it. But for now, write it down on a piece of paper, those kinds of things. It's such an interesting concept, right? When we talk about it being simple, the process of success, the process of growing and finding fulfillment, it's very simple. It's just difficult to integrate because we're not quite willing to make 100% commitment yet. So that's what I want to ask of you guys is just, that's my call to action to you guys actually is, what are you going to make 100% commitment to, right? For me, it's going to be just really kind of acting in integrity throughout the course of the next 2 days. I've got a couple of big presentations coming up. I feel really good about it, but there's times where I start to go, okay, hold on, why me, right? But then if I choose to live into integrity there, then my choice is, nope, I know what I'm doing. I can do this. I'm going to help people. I need to show up in that way and just being very intentional about that. So that's what it is for me. Becky, Tanya, what about for you?
The same. And just a little bit, I need to go here in a second, but I want to know, any of you watching either live or on the replay, is there anything that you want us to cover? What are you getting out of this? What can we do better? Promise our feelings won't be hurt.
Yep. Feedback is always good. All forms.
We're getting a lot out of this, but we also want you to get a lot out of this as well. This is things that we are very passionate about and passionate about sharing, but maybe we're not covering something. So
love it. That's a great point. All right. Becky, any closing thoughts for you?
I needed to put Rena's comment up here. She says she always hears cheese board. I think focus would be important to me. I think that must be the Midwest accent that maybe I keep hearing about in Maine. They're like, you have to be from the Midwest. And I'm like, I don't know why you think that. But obviously cheese and chews and whatever. But then Betty says it was too early for wine for Rena. So
come on, it's noon somewhere, Betty. Hi, Asia
and
Grace.
thank you for allowing Cora to be around. She was
Cora's
getting herself
great.
ready this morning by herself. So she was
Good
out
job, Cora.
hovering.
Good job, Cora. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. We will catch you all back here same time next week. Can't wait.
Have a great week.